All right. Diving into a little bit of standard here. Just a little bit of general channel news. Hey, Ryam, thanks for 17 months. Yarok Field forever, I agree. You want me to re-add it with that submission, I'm assuming, then? Let me know. Just general channel news. My plan for between now and when the next set releases, I think, is to only do one standard deck per day. So that means if you do submit standard decks, we're going to be a little bit slower to get to them. We've been having a ton of historic submissions. I've really been enjoying historic with the unsuspending of Field of the Dead and the new anthology, giving us a lot of great things to explore. So my plan for the next month and a half is to do one Moto deck followed by one standard deck each morning, and then 2 to 3 to maybe 4 historic decks in the afternoon, depending on how long they take and how long I'm planning to stream for. All right, anyway, right, this standard deck for today was a build-around submission for a white devotion deck, Splash Cruel Celebrant. So Cruel Celebrant here says, whenever another creature planeswalker you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. And I've elected to pair this with Woe Strider from the Black Splash as well, which can sacrifice our creatures on command. So basically, if you get some Cruel Celebrants out along with Woe Strider, you can kind of sack your board to drain your opponent out. Daxos also notably gains life when something dies. So both of these will be triggering to gain life when things die, which can make Pridemate, Heliod, and Ajani's Strength of the Pride better. So let's go ahead and jump on into a set here with us and see how it goes. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Dwight. Yep, haven't missed Historic yet. My plan moving forward, I was just saying, is to do Standard before Historic from now on, because I'm planning to do more Historic overall. I don't know that calling all the Moto decks painstaking is fair. There's still a few decks in the deck queue that are definitely going to leave a little bit to be desired. But like, for example, we played Kiki Court in Modern on Friday on Magic Online, and that was a lot of fun. I definitely included it in my favorite decks for that day. The Breach matchup is probably hard for Yarok Field, Hacksaw. My chat isn't on screen. Thank you. That was off from when I was tentatively streaming over the weekend, and then I decided that Standard wasn't worth playing. You know, Bardic, I was talking about this earlier. Not leaving the house really hasn't impacted Christy and I. Like, the only thing it's really changed in our day-to-day is the kids not going to school, and then, the kids not going to school, and then us getting takeout less often. Not at all. We used to, as millennials with dual income, we usually eat out a lot. So we're eating at home more. Yeah, playing shit decks and getting your stuff, playing bad decks and getting your stuff pushed in over and over again isn't necessarily a pleasant experience. That's going to happen less often, though, and I've increased the price for Magic Online decks, so when I do just get my things pushed in, I'm going to get paid more to do it. I think you could continue to eat out often to support the local economy. I do not trust places to have workers not come in when they're sick. And even if I did trust places to not have workers come in if they were sick, there's also the ability that, like, this is the thing you really need to understand about this COVID thing and why it's a huge deal. People are carriers for COVID without having symptoms. That is the number one thing you need to understand. Someone could have no fever, no cough, and still be someone that could get you or your family sick. That is the reality that we are living in. Brazen Borrower and Teferi being omnipresent in this format make it a pretty big feel-bad format in a lot of instances. My wife, again, for people that don't keep up with my family life, is currently almost 7 months pregnant. So we are taking no additional risks that are unnecessary. We have a chest freezer in my garage. I don't think any of us plan on leaving the house for like the next 2 weeks at a minimum, except to like maybe take the kids outside in the backyard if the weather is nice out. No school or work. Well, thanks for the Prime support, Jared Dog. They plague winded us after Cyclotic Rifting us. Yep. Yeah, the tempo elements in this format feel pretty brutal, and they feel like they render a lot of things pretty unplayable. Or at least, if not unplayable, a lot worse than they otherwise would be. If you're not retiring anytime soon, don't look at your investment balances. Several people that were at the Houston rodeo tested positive. There were 70,000 people there that day. Banned gatherings over 10 people. Yep. The CDC in the United States issued guidance to cancel gatherings over 50 people, but they're also probably not going to be enforcing that. They're going to be enforcing that here in Seattle. Good. Many states have announced that they are closing the dine-in portion of restaurants, but are still allowing them to stay open for delivery. I think we just Heliod here and then attack with these and stack some counters on things. There are a lot of people who are not going to take things seriously and are not going to react until it's too late for people to be reacting. I think freaking out about Americans that are coming back in from Europe shows a kind of misunderstanding of the fact of just how many people are already here that haven't been tested, that already have it. Like, you're really not preventing that much spread by not letting people come back into the country. It's already here. My grandmother, who I called to check in with over the weekend, said that in Chicago, they had stopped doing church services. All right, I think I'm just Woe Stridering. You do this guy, Fox. Yeah, if you buy him outright, you get 4x of everything. Yeah, I've heard a number of places of worship that have moved to just streaming their services. There was no reason to pray. This was already an act of the gods. Anger of the gods flavor text. You know, if I was religious, I'd probably be inclined to believe that. I would assume if there was a deity out there and they were benevolent, they would be really upset with how boomers and hateful people in general have warped and twisted things on this planet over the course of the last few decades. We did get some free raid energy today. I noticed that when I logged in. Gonna burn that this evening. So I guess I'm gonna do this, and then we'll Healer's Hawk, and then we'll just pass so we can hold up the Life's Bounty here. I've only got 2 cards in the bin. This needs 4 others, so still pretty far off of doing anything with that. This is feeling pretty impossible. This Teamer matchup is one of the reasons why the mono white build of this started to feel unplayable. Just the barrage of Brazen Borrowers mean that like getting set up with either of these cards becomes difficult to impossible. Yeah, the play patterns that Brazen Borrower and 3-mana Teferi produce are rough. Got Shards Too Sweet. Yeah, there's a summoning event coming up, I think. So hold on to the blue ones. So this can protect enchantments. So they're going to try and Brazen Borrower Heliod here, and then we'll sack Life's Bounty to protect it. So we'll protect this, which counters their Brazen Borrower. Fonseca, thank you for the 3/4 of a year. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. This was a good draw. Seasoned Pyromancer. That card was great in Kiki Cord. Thanks for the happy year. I appreciate it. Welcome back. So they've got a bunch of big monsters coming down next turn. Pump up the squawks. It really was, Singer. It was quite delicious. Seasoned Pyromancer is like good with Court of Calling too, which was great. That's a Nissa who shakes the world, yep. Chat icons have a tab index. Yes, they do. Yes, they do. Well, shoot. Sure, Blades Queen. Everything the Trump administration has done to handle this pandemic has been largely inadequate and too slow. Which is probably in large part due to the fact that he fired the pandemic response team in 2018 and never replaced them. Because again, Republicans love cutting critical life-saving services so they can save money on their budget to give tax cuts to billionaires. If you are someone who cannot afford to lose your job and have no source of income for the next 6 months to a year, you don't have enough money to vote Republican. They don't have your best interests at heart. The only people who vote Republican at this point are idiots and millionaires. And if you're not sure which of those two you are, check your bank account. Yeah, we're probably just dead. These giants are gonna come down. The Druid Keeper, yep. Correct, Terran. Even most upper middle class people can't afford to be without work for 6 months. Yeah, that was tough. Hopefully we can hit some hopefully there's non-Teferi, non-Brazen Borrower matchups in this format to play. Morning Troll. We'll see. I was following some accounts from people that did well in the MCQ over the weekend. And it looked like there was a lot of Jeskai fighters doing well, which probably doesn't bode well for us. Banadar, thanks for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome to Oglandia. Hope you're staying safe on this Monday in this crazy world. All right, so do I just go one drop here or Daxos? I probably want to go Daxos because that way next turn I can go 2-drop, 1-drop and curve out. Quench. Okay. They playing like old school blue-green flash? Well, at least we won't be thirsty this stream. Been thoroughly quenched out, chap. The worst part about playing against Flash players is they take 4 hours on every spell they cast, yeah. Oh, look, they made a quick decision. God bless. God bless. You know what's weird, chat? It's almost like they balanced the obnoxious blue cards in this format. Like there was a really efficient card to blow them out when they were testing this format. I wonder if there was something in this format at some point where it was just this incredibly efficient answer to all of these blue counter spells and bounce spells. What do you think, chat? Is there a possibility that that's what was going on? Yeah, some kind of 1-mana instant, maybe. Yeah, or maybe there was a land that, like, lets you not care about these things. My lukewarm take is that Standard would be better with Field of the Dead was legal as well. I'll take it because they gave it to me in Historic and we'll just play more Historic and less Standard. But I think the Standard format would be much better if Field of the Dead was legal. Man, I'm gonna lose my mind if this last card's another Quench. Oh, feels magic, man. And it's like, we're actually kind of ahead here now. Because, like, I have Castle and they just have a Borrower and I have these. But it's like, it's still annoying, right? Like, it's not even that we're losing so much as it's just annoying. These unless they draw like a Night Pack ambush or ASAP, we're pretty far ahead here, right? Any deck that plays to the board quickly tends to be decent against the opponent's archetype. Yeah, they find like a Nissa or a Hydroid Crisis here, we'd be in trouble too. So hoping to just fade all their biggest threats. Someday I will learn to use my powers for good, chat. Someday I will learn to make a called shot that's beneficial to me. A timeout for me? That's rude. Alright, now we can concede. Digitech Wire, thanks for the year and a half. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I've got a couple giant killers. These are expensive, and the tokens just get bounced. We're gonna cut those. I'm gonna bring in Tomik, assuming they have some Nissas. Let's do this. I wonder if we'll hit any non-Brazen Borrower, non-Teferi decks in the standard set. Oh, I should make a command. Maybe I'm supposed to mulligan this, looking for one of our 1-drops. I don't know, I have 2-3 on the play. Yeah, I agree, Rhino. Yeah, our 2-drop resolves. Yeah, I just... Traditional, mid-range, and standard are just like really, really bad in the current standard. Traditional mid-range is just like really bad in the current standard format. And I just like don't really have any decks that I'm super enjoying in this format at the moment. I tweeted something out about that, and a bunch of people piped up letting me know that like the Nissa Hydroid Crisis Growth Spiral deck is a mid-range deck. And it's just like, good golly. it's been so long since mid-range was playable in Magic that, like, people think ramp decks are mid-range decks. It's kind of offensive. I am very fortunate in that I can do my job from home, Hacker. So I'll be here doing my job from home as long as that's a possibility. GR in Standard had Golgari as one of the best decks. Sultai was one of the better decks in RNA Standard too, that's fair. What are spells? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me no more. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey, hey, hey. Crunch. There's gonna be a wolf coming down. Yeah, the energy decks back in Kaladesh were definitely mid-range decks. We're only 2 matches in, right? This is our second one. We played against Adventures, and now this other Simic deck. Well, I mean, the good news is we're life-linking a little bit, I suppose. Oh gosh, they have a 1-drop here too. They have a 1-drop here too. That's a lot of damages. There's a chance there'll be no large paper events for Ikiora. Yep. Gosh, if only there was some kind of way. If only there was some kind of way to have these things happen digitally. Probably can't figure that out in such a small amount of time though. So, like, I'm going to tell you something the OS X users don't really want to hear. The lack of a Mac client isn't really that big of a deal. Sorry, it's not. The amount of additional users and revenue that they're going to generate from bringing the client to OS X is so incredibly minimal. It's just like, and I say that as a Linux user who feels for you, but like, that's the cold hard truth. Like, there are certainly people who would spend money who aren't going to spend money otherwise, but like, I think a lot of people underestimate the effort required to support an additional platform. Yes, that same logic also applies to Linux. I also don't really need official support for Linux. It's been like 95% of my content, 99.9% of my content is done from a Linux computer here. Like, are we dead? We're dead, right? 9, 10, block here. actually don't think the Scapeship matchup is really bad for Yarok Field. I am Shadra. All my streaming's done from an Ubuntu 1804 base system. Unity applications tend to run really well under Wine. Yep, Dr. Mr. Punny. Not even compiling the... Listen! Like many young adults, I experimented a lot during college, and I tried to install Gen 2 one time, and that's a weekend of my life I will never get back, chat, okay? I wish I could recover the weekend of my college adulthood that was spent trying to install Gen 2, but alas, that time is gone to me now. Lots of experimentation. We tried Portage, we tried Pac-Man, but really I just realized I'm an apt man myself, chat. We don't kink shame around here, different strokes for different folks, but I'm definitely an apt man. Can't say that I have, Singer. Feels dead, man. Well, they're exiling a bunch of lands off the top of my deck. Hey, I'm glad you're enjoying it, Blue. Historic's been a lot of fun. I've been enjoying the format in general myself. Yeah, like, Linux is already, like, a niche enough platform that, like, you should just make your life easier and use the most popular branch of it. I know that's trying to give advice to hipsters, so it's not gonna go over well, but... I use Linux because it's more efficient for me on average, not because I need to feel special. Is Ubuntu the most popular these days? Yeah, it's the most popular desktop distribution. Yeah, Robber the Rich has been very good here for them. Solus uses like its own custom package manager, right? I don't think any distributions that are like utilizing their own custom package manager at this point are worth considering. I think again, you already struggle to get decent support for most Linux things that like using... Yeah, they're just gonna Ember Cleave me here, huh? Lingering Souls would be a gasoline reprint. Yeah, Mint is fine. Mint is just basically Ubuntu with extra crap on it. Yeah, I've never really had to manage Linux in a... Wow, they just bluff in the cleave, huh? I've never had to manage Linux systems in a non-desktop environment, so my thoughts are definitely biased in that direction. Hey, thanks for the 23 months, Cajun guy. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I assume they're gonna sack this goat and kill my Ajani. Okay, well, I mean, we could technically escape a Woe Strider here. These new basics are gorgeous. Hands down. They only have 2 cards in their bin. That's good for us. Well, that's unfortunate. Don't play an oven. Well, the stage is very lit. The Heliod is from our deck. They had 2 Robber of the Rich. That messed us up. Wonder if we'll see them attack with Woe Strider now. They can also just, like, sack the cats to draw cards and deal damage. Yeah, we're gonna see them kill our Pridemate here. They're gonna draw 2. Yeah, I just don't see how we ever keep up from here. Might be a quick standard set today. I don't know that I'm gonna get beat up a 4th time. I think I'm about ready to play some historic. Let's bring in some removal and hope for the best, I suppose. Can't even imagine how good COVID has been for streamers. So far, my numbers look to be about the same, Mr. Tasty. My educated guess is that there will probably be more people watching Twitch as a whole, but I kind of expect viewer counts to stay the same because I would estimate there's going to be more people streaming in total as well. I also wouldn't be surprised if sub counts end up going down because a lot of people are going to get disrupted economically with this. So I would expect non-prime subs to decline on most channels, would be my educated guess as well. I don't think you really need a sweeper in the sideboard of the field deck because Disfigure usually gives you enough time to bridge the gap to when you can make zombies. Well, Panda, a lot of people that watch Twitch tend to watch Twitch while they play their game. Like someone will be playing Magic Arena and then also have a Magic Arena stream up. Yeah, we'll see. And like I said, everything I just said there is speculation. Who knows? Who knows how it's really going to work? Like, this is an unprecedented time in history. There aren't really past things to look at to make predictions. I think until the government steps in and forces people to act responsibly, a lot of people are going to be acting very irresponsibly surrounding things surrounding COVID. And the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, in large part has contributed to people acting irresponsibly by making this out to not be a big deal when it's a very big deal. Yeah, I think we line these blocks up so this can turn into a 3-3 so we can block this down the line. Scam Dumb, thanks for the half a year. Welcome back. Acting irresponsibly, my college story. Yeah, a lot of people I've heard that are in college towns said that bar activity went up when the schools closed. So, like, I'm glad a lot of states are taking steps to close the bars. I mean, nothing like this has happened in our lifetime, Pelly. Yeah, a lot of the estimations I read based on models predicted from Italy and other countries estimate that the hospitals in major U.S. cities will likely be overwhelmed by the 23rd, which is a week from today. And that date, based on that prospect, feels like both an eternity from now and right around the corner all at the same time. Oh, robber of the rich. Yes, I also think that in the event the precautions that are being taken actually start to work, a lot of people are going to disregard them after 2 weeks or whatever because they're working, and then things will flare up. Alright, I'm gonna try one more time and like give this a fair shake, but it's been a rough set. That last set we like flooded twice, so I'm gonna give it one more. Yeah, the brew friendly part of the standard season is pretty thoroughly over. The format is well defined, and the time for exploration is mostly over. Okie doke. Excited to get Tefreed and Deafening Clarion. Yeah, standard had a good run. There's a bunch of decks up on my website that are now mostly bad. I don't know, maybe I should take them down. I should probably just sort them. I should sort them into realistic categories that represent these decks are fun but not super competitive if you're playing at the top level. Yeah, I agree, Gun3. I really think the way they're balancing setting up Historic, and honestly, Historic's gonna be a great format to play all the time. Excuse me. Because Historic is a set that's gonna get new cards every 6 weeks, right? Like, the number of updates Historic is gonna have regularly is awesome. Like, we get normal standard sets into it, but then we also get these anthology injections. Thanks for the tip, Wolfie. I appreciate it. For an Abzan frog list. Sounds good. We'll get that added. But you will be alive for them to not like at the end of it, Marty. Hopefully they will be too. Here's open. Alright, so they have to chump block my 5/5 here, right? Or they don't, you know? Who am I to tell them how to live their life, really? Giant Killer sounds great. Yeah, they can live their life however they want to. Banishing Light. I think Banishing Light's not good enough here. Honestly, it's kind of interesting to track how this format developed, because this card was so good early on in this format, and it's just so bad now that Brazen Borrower and Teferi are ever. Yeah, if you want to bump things someone just added now that aren't quite listed yet, that's fine. I'll include your bump at the end of the stream. Thanks for the tip. Double down on Abzan Frog. Sounds good, Wanna Kiss? Sounds excellent. Yeah, I think I'm just boarding in Giant Killers. I'm gonna trim a couple Healer Hawks here. I'm gonna trim a Woe Strider and a Healer Hawk. In. For Abzan Frog. Sounds good. I believe that will almost assuredly put Frog into tomorrow's stream. Yeah. Yep. The historic queue's a little bit backed up, but not too much, and we're going to play through it pretty quickly here, so. What in the world is Abzan Frog? It's a Get Rog monster deck. Perfect. Abzan, Get Rog monster and historic. Sounds good, Wolfie. They boarded in Legion Warboss against my deck that they want to Deafening Clarion. It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him here. Yes, Party Bus CEO. That's the type of delusional people we're largely dealing with. If your response to the global pandemic was, I need to stock up on my firearms, you are everything that is wrong with the United States. Alright, so do I Pridemate, make a token? I think I'd rather just Heliod Hunted Witness here. And then we do this and this. Then we'll put 2 counters on here. Yeah, people hoarding everyday essentials are also pretty awful. Oh, so they just have Legion War Boss and Deafening Clarion in their deck at the same time? That's a decision. Sure. Choices were made. I feel like these two cards are never supposed to be in their deck together. I don't know. I'm like no means Jeskai Fire's expert though. So like if they have a lot of experience with it, maybe they're right. I mean, I was playing a bunch of stuff regardless, Kuritinshi. I'm an aggro deck that needs to play stuff out. Okie doke. Beep, beep. I think New Zealand has the right idea. Australia and the US are sold out of toilet paper. New Zealand is sold out of lube and batteries. Oh, that's... Alright, let's try one. We got on the scoreboard, chat. Let's try one more. I do expect, assuming that we survive all of this, that the school year after my new child, so like not her school year, but the school year after, will probably be a very big class. Lots of newborn daughters named Corona in about 10 months. No, not you, COVID Scott. I wanted you, COVID, whatever your last name is. They took my firstborn bird, chat. My poor birdie. Poor little bird. Do I get rid of this? I feel like I get rid of this. I need lands to hit these. The bird was baked into pigeon pie. Hawk pie? Hawk pie, technically. Yeah, Christy was doing some research. We plan to formula feed when the new one gets here, and apparently there are people buying up formula right now too, infant formula, to like use as coffee creamer and other stuff like that. Which is real obnoxious. Anybody who has kids, like, knows that that's, like, not only is it, like, awful, but it's, like, it's expensive, and it doesn't taste very good. Like, especially, like, newborn, like, at least, like, toddler formula, they, like, try to make it, like, vanilla flavored or whatever. Like, newborn formula is, like, it's disgusting. So you've tried it then? Yeah, of course I tried the thing that was feeding my newborn child. Come on now. At some point. We have a 2-month-old foster who is on super special formula and people have bought it out. We're hoping, yeah, I'm really hoping. Okay, since Christy actually asked me before, like, we stocked up like 2 weeks, like a week ago before like the huge rush happened, and Christy's like, should we get formula now a little bit just in case? And I was like, I'm hoping that supply chains will be available again by like 2.5 months from now. Yeah, you can check the temperature putting it on your like the back of your arm though. Yeah, this whole thing has been a stimulation for the bidet industry. I did hear that. Well, we're in an okay spot until they draw Mayhem Devil. Speaking from Germany, we're 2 weeks ahead of the US. Supply chains recovered pretty quickly. Yeah. I feel like that's hopefully not going to be an issue. I have a goat. Are you really going to activate this? They might want to activate it just for the black mana, honestly. All right. All right. Are we gonna get to do the thing, chat? Crunch, crunch. Fred the Third, thanks for shipping your Prime this way again. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I have gained 2 on demand by sacrificing this with the Celebrants in play, which is great. I would love to gain some life and trigger all my things. Thank you. Whee! Alright, so Decree sounds good. Banishing Light's probably good. Hunted Witness seems great. I'm gonna trim Healer's Hawk. I think I'm just trimming a bunch of my X1s here because they're almost assuredly a Mayhem Devil deck. Yeah, I think that's the plan. Yeah, Elspeth there theoretically is an anti-control card. Yeah. Agree with the water. Yeah, the Elspeth and the Gideons are theoretically for blue-white control. Sure. Just gotta remove missing a color, but like I don't have any black spells, so just be able to like play like I'm on a white deck for a little bit. Daxos into Pridemate, even if we miss on lands. Respect the priest, chat. Respect the priest. Gives us a scry to try and hit our third land drop more consistently too. Bottoms up. I think we again just continue to respect the priest, hopefully find a fourth land, get to go Daxos Pridemate next turn. Perfect. Yeah, I've messed up too many people with Priests of the Forgotten Gods over the years to not let's like kill that garden site. Wow, what is in their hand? They didn't kill either of my things. They just like super flooded. Must be, huh? Alright, so we'll do this. And then I think we'll just do this so I can make a 6/6 and attack. Thoughts on takeout in the face of the coronavirus? You should not be leaving your house even for takeout. People are capable of transmitting this thing even without symptoms. So even places that are like taking the temperatures of people aren't guaranteed to not be transmitting things. Takeout is a optional extra, and all optional extras should stop. If you don't need it, go without for now. Thank you for the 2 entire years of support, Boneless. I appreciate that. Welcome back. And that's even before you consider the fact that the food industry is largely responsible for requiring people to come into work even when they are sick. Hopefully that's going to stop this time around, but there's no guarantee that that stops right now. I assume you're joking, Weck, but there are going to be a lot of people who have that actual attitude, and it's going to kill a lot of people. I've actually enjoyed hanging out with my kids more and more the older they've gotten. Declan especially, we've played, we got Mario Party for the Switch, along with a couple of other games we were preparing for staying in a bunch. And, he's been a lot of fun to play with. You literally write software for a living and your company's still having you come into work. Yep. Well, Toasted Mino, thank you for the 10 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I don't know if they thought that one through. I don't know that they thought that one through. I feel like there might have been a little bit of oopsie poopsie there. I'm gonna keep my 7-7 and my 8-8. The company my buddy works for is completely oblivious. The company they share their office building with has at least one person working, but they have their entire staff in. They sell paint, flooring, etc. Yeah. All right, let's see if we can get one more bad brew. The bad brew mirrors in this format are fine. It's just the slew of brazen borrowers and Tefris that are like pretty brutal. You saw people going to the playground with their kids. And honestly, like, you don't have to strictly stay in your house, right? Like, you can walk around your neighborhood. You can, like, be in your backyard, especially if you're fortunate enough to have a backyard. But, like, just don't be engaging with other people outside of your family. The park is an exceptionally bad idea. That is incredibly irresponsible. Well, the silver lining in all of this insanity is that children themselves don't seem to be at a huge risk from this thing directly. I often refer to my children jokingly as plague carriers. The big issue surrounding children with this is the fact that they are literally plague carriers. Like, it's not even something I can say sarcastically anymore. Like, that's the reality. They transmit. I call my daughter my little disease vector. Yep. Yeah, hey, that's what they do. When you're in, like, your early and mid-20s and you don't have kids, you think that, like, you just have a really good immune system. But the reality of the situation is, when you're at that age group, you just don't know people who sneeze directly into your eyeballs. And it turns out having people that sneeze directly into your eyeballs is a good way to get sick. Did we kill their Jace? I have opponent emotes turned off, which disables their pet. Alright, so what are we hoping for here? Like another Cruel Celebrant or the Demigod? I actually don't really want to do that, right? So we'll sack this, which triggers Celebrant, which triggers Pridemate. Bottom of the land. No, I've never clicked on my opponent's Jays because I always just like disembowel them and throw them on the ground like the bad puppet they are. Yeah, if your children aren't out in the world with other little plague carriers transmitting vectors to each other, you're not going to be sick. When I was a stay-at-home, the kids weren't sick very often either. That changes when they go to school or daycare or anything like that.
Everything will be fine. Call for reinforcements.
We've delayed the opening of Mock's boarding house in Portland. That is smart. Yeah, I have a grandparent down in Florida, and I have a grandmother in the Chicago suburbs still. I was relieved when I called my grandma in the Chicago suburbs that she seemed to be taking things seriously. She has some children that I would describe as, and just relatives in general and acquaintances, they're on the Fox News. So it's always hard to know, like, people that are surrounded by folks like that, how seriously they're going to take something like this. Well, that's unfortunate. Really? What are we getting back here? Oh, Ritual Assault, so we're super dead? I'm gonna be done. I think I'm gonna make a note. Group decks on website later. Group standard decks on website. This format, early on, we were definitely in a honeymoon phase, as things get more optimized and more efficient. And it turns out, as things got super optimized and efficient in this format, Brazen Borrower and 3-mana Debt Free are just like pretty omnipresent cards. And like, I really liked this White Devotion aggro early, and this deck's very similar to that, only with a splash, and just, there's too many things that reset these creatures you're trying to build up as large threats in play to really let them sit in play and leverage them appropriately. Yeah, and like, there's a lot of people have correctly identified that Historic's still in kind of one of those phases too, where it's new and exciting. But the key difference about Historic versus Standard is that Historic is going to be in that new exciting phase way more often than Standard is, especially for the next year. Like, Historic is going to get Historic anthologies or a new set release every 6 weeks. So it gets updates every month and a half. And on top of that, it's going to get 3 large card injections with Pioneer Remastered, Amonkhet Remastered, and Jumpstart all coming this year most likely. So again, we're going to go ahead and dive on into some Historic up here next. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, or a month or so until the next set release, I'm going to be doing less Standard and more Historic stuff because I've enjoyed Historic more personally. Obviously, based on numbers and how things change, it's always subject to readjusting, but I'm kind of predicting we're going to do more Historic and less Standard until the next set release. At any rate, I'm going to hit a quick ad roll, and when we get back, we're going to be diving back into some more Yarok Field here, my current favorite deck in Historic. Be back in just a few. Thanks for hanging out today, folks. Don't go anywhere.